Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another Fletch Talks live stream. I hope we're all doing well on this Monday morning. How are we? Hope we're all good. Hope we're all good. There's Liverpool fans out there. Everything is going well outside of the Liverpool aura area, I guess you'd say. I hope everything's going well for you. Rival fans, if you're out there just wanting a laugh at us this morning, I hope you're doing well too. I hope everyone's all good. I hope we're all good. As always with these videos, as always with this kind of stuff, please do hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Really appreciate you guys being here so early on this Monday morning. And of course, hit up the chat. Hit up the chat, people. Tell me where you're watching from today. Tell me what you're up to today or even later on this week. All of that good stuff. And of course, hit me up with some football chat as well. That's the main reason why we're here. But, you know, we like a bit of conversation, a bit of sidetracking, a bit of whatever on these kinds of videos. Remember, these are more so your videos than they are mine. Would love to get to know you a bit more and all of that kind of good stuff. So, like I said, hit the chat with anything that you want to talk about, anything that you are doing today, this week, or where you're watching from, all of that good stuff. And like I say, let's talk mainly some football. And mainly, we are obviously going to be talking about this very explosive, very nuclear Mohammed Salah situation. It has really blown up since he dropped that interview in the aftermath of Liverpool's 3-3 draw with Leeds United on Sunday. And I think it blown up more simply for the reason that, with all due respect to Crystal Palace and Fulham and Brighton and West Ham, Super Sunday wasn't, with all due respect again, I can't stress that enough, not exactly Super Sunday. And I think it blown up because it really has stolen the spotlight and overshadowed everything over the course of the past 48 hours or so. So, like, we're not even talking about how poor Liverpool were. We're not even talking about how Liverpool lost a 2-goal lead to, of all teams, Leeds United, and ended up drawing 3-3. We should be here talking about that. We should be here talking about another couple of points dropped for Chelsea. We should be talking about City closing the gap on Arsenal. Arsenal losing to what was an incredible performance by Aston Villa. But instead, the one thing that has overshadowed this entire weekend's round of Premier League fixtures hasn't even been anything to do with like VAR or the PGMOL or anything like that. It has been Mohammed Salah's very explosive comments that he made after Liverpool's 3-3 draw, the 6-goal thriller at Ellen Road this past Saturday, in which he basically let out all of his frustrations, all of his anger, and said it how he felt it. And what obviously we got from that is, well, I did a video on it yesterday. You guys can go back and check that out if you wish. Would really appreciate that. But basically, to sum up what he said, he wasn't saying he wanted to leave the club. He wasn't saying that he wanted to go or anything along those lines. The main frustrations for him seem to mainly rely on the breakdown between him and the manager, the breakdown of the relationship between him and the manager. There's no communication, and that's a common thread, by the way. There is a bit of a common thread as to certain things that the manager hasn't exactly communicated on with either current or ex-players on. So we'll get onto that a little bit later on in the video as well. But there's that side of things which he is frustrated about. And he's also frustrated about the fact that he seemingly was promised many things when he signed a new deal, and the club and the manager have not delivered, which seems to suggest to him that he's being thrown, as he said, under the bus, being made a scapegoat, because he's the one that is seemingly being made an example of, rather than others, which again we will get onto a little later. But that was basically that in a nutshell. He did go on to speak to, I believe it was like a Norwegian journalist for a good 7.5 minutes. Various quotes are flying around of that interview, but those are the two main points for me that I picked up on. Like, out of everything, it mainly stemmed from the frustration of a breakdown of communication with the manager, and of course, talking about how he's the one that is being made an example of. I agree with most of it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily agree with it all being aired out in public, but I understand that players do reach certain breaking points, and I do understand that, you know, for someone who's been an excellent servant to the club, even when we weren't great, to obviously winning many a trophy over the past several years and over the course of his stay here. I understand the frustration aspect. I don't necessarily agree with it being aired out in public, but again, it's like I said yesterday, sometimes in order to get a team to where you want, you need to obviously change something. And let's be real, Jamie Carragher wanted Mo Salah to talk. He wanted Mo Salah to say something. He could have done what basically Van Dijk's done, give the basic PR answers with a little bit of an edge towards certain pundits and certain ex-players that have obviously tried to stick the needle in Liverpool this season, such as a Wayne Rooney, for example. But for the most part, it's been very PR and very media trained from Virgil van Dijk. Others that have obviously taken to interviews post-game and stuff like that have obviously done similar things. What doesn't help Salah's case is the fact that Dominic Szoboszlai, basically an hour before Salah said what he said, was out there stating that certain things need to be kept behind closed doors, certain things need to be kept in a dressing room, that kind of thing. And then Salah goes and does what he does. It was sort of like, oh, Salah didn't quite get the memo there, that kind of thing. But the only aspect that I really disagree with from Mo Salah on what he said is the fact that he seemed to believe that he had a God-given right to basically be starting pretty much, or maybe not, maybe he didn't mean it like the way he sounded, but it sounded like he was stating that after everything he's done for the club, he kind of deserves his place. He's basically awarded his place in the starting 11 on merit and reputation rather than, on reputation rather than merit. And that's the one aspect that I disagree with. I don't want anybody at my football club, regardless of your pay, regardless of your reputation, to basically demand that you start. You're not bigger than the club. You're not bigger than the starting 11. You're not bigger than everybody else at the club, even though you may be on a higher pay grade, even though you may be a big cog in the machine, so to speak. You are not given that God-given right to be starting every single game purely based on what you have done with the club. Now, I'm a Liverpool fan that has said that he should be dropped, but there has to be communication. There has to be communication as to why he's being dropped. Salah needs to understand why he's being dropped so that either he can go away and go, right, I'm going to give you a reason why I'm undroppable. I'm going to go on there whenever I get my minutes and I'm going to prove to you again why I am still the guy, the main man. But it doesn't seem like Arne Slot has given him that communication, which is hence why the relationship's broken down. Further proof of that, Cody Gakpo, Ibrahima Konate, both of them have been so poor this season. I can only think of maybe one or two games where both players have actually turned up, but yet they play every single game. They're basically on the pitch for the majority of minutes. Konate's not on the pitch for certain minutes because Slot does the same thing over and over again, which is if we need a goal, come the 60th, 70th minute, somewhere between then and there, he decides to take off Konate and throw Chiesa on and put Gravenberch into centre-back. So how are we sat here saying, like, oh, Salah shouldn't be doing this, when, in my opinion, he's got a right to be frustrated. He's got a right to be annoyed, because he's the only one that has seemingly been dropped out of the entire forward line. Isak and Ekatike rotate because the manager can't figure out a way to play them both. Florian Wirtz is playing he's playing right the way across the forward line, whether it's left, right, centre, or even up front. Gakpo's the only one. Gakpo is the only one that is seemingly undroppable right now. And I don't understand why that is, because surely nobody could play worse than what Cody Gakpo is playing right now. Which is why I keep saying, throw Chiesa on there, because Chiesa gives 120% every single time he's on the pitch. He maximizes his minutes. Throw Rio Ngamora on there. He can't do any worse. I know he's a kid, but at the same time, if he's good enough to play, he's good enough to play. Put him on. At least then I can turn around and go, you know what? At least Slot's trying something different. I look at Lamine Yamal. I look at Esteban at Chelsea as a closer to home example. And I go, if you're young enough, you're good enough. And those two players are. And I believe that Ngamora will offer something a little different. Is he going to have a great game every game? No, of course not. He's still a kid. But at least he's going to do something a little different. At least he's going to provide some energy and some sort of, get you off your seat moment. Because that is what we've heard in training that he does. He's exciting. He's skillful. He's talented. Throw him on there. Get him to do something, because these Liverpool fans that are either in the stadium or watching around the world are in desperate need of something to cling on to. We need something like that. And to bring it back to Mo Salah, he's looking around at these players that are playing poorly and going, well, why have I been singled out? I can understand why he would use the term he's been thrown under the bus, because that's exactly how it sounds and seems. If you're dropping him based on his form, if you're dropping him based on his poor performances this season, why aren't you dropping Konate? Why aren't you dropping Gakpo? It's absolute madness to me. And that's why it's created this whole civil war right now. Liverpool against Mo Salah, it seems. And I'm sure there are a few of Mo Salah's teammates that are completely on his side. I'm sure there are a few that maybe think, maybe not. But it's created this civil war. It's created this divide. And it goes even beyond the players. It goes in beyond the squad. It goes, obviously, right the way through to the club, who have seemingly decided to side with Arne Slot on this, which hence why Salah was telling the truth as to why he thinks that someone at Liverpool does not want him there this year. And, after what we've seen and after seemingly the club has decided to back Slot, that's seemingly the case. So it doesn't seem like he was lying on that front. It's just a bizarre madness to me. And even beyond that, divided the fan base, like I say, it's divided everyone. And all the journalists, all the Liverpool journalists, they are against Salah on this as well. If you've been reading any of the articles put out there by James Pearce or Paul Joyce, read those articles if you haven't. Because they paint a horrible picture of a club and a journalism group that has turned their backs on Mo Salah. This is the weird thing that pundits and journalists are so weird about. They want players to be different than the media-trained core. But as soon as something different happens, it's, oh my God, you can't speak like that. You can't do that. It's very bizarre and weird. But if anyone has read those articles, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But honestly, if you haven't, go and check them out. Paul Joyce and James Pearce are the main ones. They are absolutely bizarre. And the worst part is that they make reference to why Salah would be frustrated, but they don't kind of sympathize with him in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's so mad to me. Big up to the chat, by the way. We're going to go through some of the comments now. Big up to the people that are here on this very early stage of the Monday morning. Big up, Dean. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. Says, hi, Fletch. Hope you're doing okay. I'm doing good, man, apart from the fact that my club's in the gutter right now. But yeah, hope you're doing well too, bro. Lovely to have you here with us. Big up, Marco's in the building. Are you on Salah's side or Slot side? Salah's. I'm on Salah's because the precedent is set that you are going to be dropping players based on form. And you clearly have not followed through on that procedure and precedent. You've not followed through on it. Otherwise, why is Konate still in the team? Why is Gakpo still in the team? Like, you've made an example of Mo Salah because he's the biggest player in the team. That's the reason why you've done this. And not only that, but when you had very little to no reputation last year, he decided to do it with some of the kids as well. Look at what he did with Jarell Kwanzaa. After 45 minutes in the game against Luton, he was cut. He was hooked. And we barely saw him for the remainder of that season. So he tried it with the kids. He did it with Harvey Elliott as well. So it's not like he hasn't had a reputation of doing this, but all of a sudden, because he's a Premier League title winner, it seems as though he's throwing his weight around now. And for whatever reason, the club are lapping this up. The club aren't looking at results and going, we spent 450 million in the summer as Premier League champions. We shouldn't be losing so humiliatingly to the likes of Nottingham Forest and PSV. We shouldn't be losing to the likes of Galatasaray, or not even managing to lay a glove on the likes of Crystal Palace, losing to our bitter rivals of Man United and Chelsea. They're looking at it and going, Salah. It's Salah. It's Salah. It's mind-boggling to me. Big up Tony's in the chat. Lovely to have you here, bro. It says, morning, my man. Mo is my guy, but no player is bigger than the club. I'll be glad when Slot is gone. Just too much confusion and pure dead football. At the same time, bro, no manager's bigger than the club. Like, I understand that people may be picking sides, and I've even stated that if I had to pick a side, I would definitely be on Mo's side. But at the same time, in saying that, like, the way that I see it is, this is an entire player issue of, as I've said so many times this season, these players are not comfortable playing in this new setup and system under Slot because they're not used to it. For example, you've got Alexis McAllister that is being told to basically be a box-to-box midfielder. His legs are already going as they are. Just leave him be as a controller in midfield. Leave him be as a controller in midfield. Like, what are we doing here? That's just one example. You've got Milos Kerkez, one of the best wing-backs in the Premier League, who is being told to sit inverted. Wow, fantastic. You've got Mo Salah, who's being told to stay on the touchline, whilst an inverted fullback, whoever that may be in Joe Gomez or Connor Bradley, is being told to invert to get closer to the goal than your main goal scorer. Like, all of these things are just combining to just not make any sense whatsoever. And yet Mo Salah's sat there going, you think I'm playing bad when you've got everybody else, with the exception of one or two players, playing bad? Because your tactics and your setup are completely wrong. But you're making an example out of me to make it seem like it's my fault. Again, at the age that he's at, I'm sure Mo Salah wouldn't mind the occasional... Well, no one likes to be sat on the bench, but you know what I mean. I'm sure that he understands and is realistic enough to know that sitting out or being on the bench for 1 or 2 games, or starting out on the bench for 1 or 2 games here and there, is probably going to help his career in the long run. It's probably going to help him in the long run. But at the same time, in saying that, when there's no communication there as to why he hasn't started on the pitch for 3 games in a row, it's bizarre to me. I'm sure that if he was to play against West Ham and he was to play against Sunderland, he wouldn't mind being on the bench against Leeds United, considering that we've got a massive week coming up in which we've got to go to the San Siro to play Inter and then go and play Brighton at the weekend. I'm sure he wouldn't mind that necessarily. But if there was communication there, he definitely wouldn't mind it. But there's no communication. There is no communication. And you want to know what the funniest thing is about this, right? Well, it's not really funny, but the mad thing is that there were reports going around at the weekend that the players weren't exactly happy with obviously Johnny Heitinga leaving, and that they were actually closer to Johnny Heitinga than they were to Arne Slot. So what I've been saying, if you have been on these streams and saying in a sort of jokingly way about how maybe Johnny Heitinga was actually the main cog behind the scenes rather than Arne Slot, it might actually be true. It might actually be true what I was saying. I was just saying it in a sort of joking way, as a bit of a throwaway comment. But if reports are to be believed about this weekend, it might actually be true. Johnny Heitinga, of all people, was the main guy behind the scenes. Absolutely bizarre. Not starting does not mean thrown under the bus. It does when obviously you put into context that the likes of Gakpo and Konate are not being dropped. Alexis McAllister before this past weekend wasn't dropped. He's the only one in the forward line that has. If he was just dropped against West Ham, came off the bench, but then started against Sunderland, and then obviously, maybe came on at half time again at Leeds, or even started against Leeds or whatever. This doesn't happen, in my opinion. This does not happen. But yet, it has, because he's decided to bench him for 3 games. We were in desperate need of killing the game off against Leeds on Saturday, and we didn't. Salah would have been the perfect player to put on, in my opinion, especially as Leeds were pushing forward, needed a goal. We could have thrown on Salah as a countermeasure, but no, he decides to keep him off the field. To prove to you again that there is no repercussion for or no incentive to play well in this team right now. Look at what happened on Wednesday. Cody Gakpo has a nightmare of a game. He was absolutely a bit even worse by this season's own standards of Cody Gakpo, right? Cody Gakpo was awful on Wednesday against Sunderland. He gets hooked at half time. Salah goes in his place, and Salah at least tries. It wasn't like his most amazing game, but at least he tried to do something more than what Gakpo was doing. Because right now, Gakpo, every time we go forward and we give the ball to Gakpo, he is an absolute killer in the fact that he kills all of our attacks. Mo Salah at least tried. How is Mo Salah rewarded for trying? He sits on the bench against Leeds, doesn't come on. How is Cody Gakpo rewarded for having an absolute stinker against Sunderland? He starts. He plays the majority of the game. Federico Chiesa comes off the bench against Sunderland. How is he rewarded for saving Arne Slot's job right there and then against the Black Cats? He cleared the ball off the line, sprinted back 60, 70 yards to stop Sunderland from getting a winner. How is he rewarded? He sits on the bench against Leeds and doesn't come on. There is no incentive in this team to play well because all you do to the ones that play well is they get shafted the next game. Case in point again, look at Dominic Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai has been our best player this season by a country mile. But guess what happens? Szoboszlai gets put in every single other position rather than the one he's comfortable with. You need me at right back, I'll play at right back. You need me right wing, I'll play right wing. You need me left wing, I'll play left wing. You need me as a 10, I'll play as a 10. You need me as an 8, I'll play as an 8. Szoboszlai plays it and does it well each and every single freaking game. He's been our best player this season. Another case in point, Hugo Ekitike, our best signing of the summer. He plays amazingly well. Near enough every single game. May not get the goals or assists to show for it, but he, on Saturday especially, absolutely balling out. Gets a couple of goals. What do you think the reward is going to be for Hugo Ekitike getting a couple of goals on Saturday against Leeds? Do you think he's going to be starting at the San Siro on Wednesday? No. No. Isak will play because it's the rotation that Arne Slot likes to put on these two. He can't play them together. God forbid he play them together. He can't play them for longer than 5 minutes together in a single game because he likes to throw on the other one that doesn't start and then 5 minutes later take off the other one. All of our best players that play well, there is no incentive to keep that up because they don't get rewarded. Szoboszlai gets rewarded by being put in any other position rather than his own. Hugo Ekitike is constantly swapped in and out with Isak. It's an absolute shambles. Chiesa saves his job, doesn't touch the pitch against Leeds. But Cody Gakpo can sit there, putting stinker after stinker in, being the most predictable player on the planet and do nothing. And yet he plays every game week. It's a shambles. Konate, mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And again, on Saturday, there was another horrendous, needless mistake that he made. It put the team in jeopardy because we are mentally shot to pieces. And yet, he will probably start at the San Siro on Tuesday. I know we are short of options, centre-back-wise. But even so, as I said earlier, if you even have to find someone in your youth academy to play there, it can't be any worse than the performances that Konate is putting in right now. Same goes for Van Dijk, by the way, who has been pretty shocking as well. Like, he doesn't get away with it, but again, Van Dijk has a bit more credit in the bank than what Konate does, with all due respect. It's an absolute shambles. Gakpo is his Dutch mate. Dutch friends, doesn't drop him. Ooh, Dutch friend. Yeah, I get what you mean. This is Salah, who started always next to Mane and Firmino, and I get how he feels. They brought a bunch of worse players in, and now Salah is benched. Like I say, I'm on the side of, like, you don't just get a God-given right to start every game. You've got to obviously earn it. You've got to obviously earn it on merit. And for me, Federico Chiesa has, and therefore Federico Chiesa deserves to start over Mo Salah. But at the same time, if you're not communicating that, then that's on you. That's on you. If you're not communicating and saying, look, you haven't performed very well, so I'm going to take you out the firing line a little bit. I'm going to give you a kick up the backside, and I'm going to let Chiesa start the next game. If Chiesa does well, he may start the next game. But I will bring you on, but you need to maximize your minutes and prove to me again that you are still the main man. Stuff like that. Like, he's just, in my opinion, he's just not a good man manager. If this is happening. And so again, if you want to go back in Liverpool history, Rafa Benitez and Jurgen Klopp, just two that off the top of my head, were managers that even when they were going through bad spells, could still get players revved up, motivated to run through brick walls for them. Even when the bad times, they still managed to do it. Even in times of jeopardy and adversity, they still managed to do it. Klopp managed to rile up a bunch of kids to beat the blue billionaire bottle jobs. This guy wouldn't be able to do that. This guy couldn't do that. This guy fed his kids to the wolves against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup. He couldn't do that. He can't do that. He's not a good man manager. Tactically, he may be fine. He may be a fine tactical manager, as proven last year, not so much this year. But as a man manager, he's not good. He's really not good. Slot's man management is very poor. Hey, we're just saying that. I didn't even read your comment, but we were just saying that. Fair play to you, Tony. Just look at Chiesa's situation, and like you say, Slot's favourite son, Gakpo, doesn't get dropped no matter how poor he plays. Exactly, man. Exactly. We literally talked about Chiesa. We literally talked about how there's no reward and no incentive for players for players that play well. It's an absolute shambles, my bro. 100% agree with you. Big up Reluctant Gamers in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. Yeah, good win for you at the weekend. 2-1 win over Burnley. Pretty comfortable for the most part, it seemed. Bruno Guimaraes with is it called an Olympia where you score from a corner? Is it an Olympia? Why have I got Olympia in my head? I think I'm right in saying it's an Olympia, but I could be wrong. I could just be making words up, or I could just be getting it completely wrong. Either way, Bruno Guimaraes right now, it would ruin his career, but I would love him at Liverpool. I'd love Bruno Guimaraes at Liverpool. Absolute boss. Big up Ballum is in the chat. Lovely to have you here, bro. It says Salah is important. I know he is. Stop saying Salah. Bro, I can't understand why anyone is slotting right now. I genuinely can't. I just can't. And I don't see how there's any way back from this if Liverpool Football Club were normal. Like, I know like not in all these situations, it's not always like the player's always right, but the principle was set and it hasn't been followed through upon. Also, you know, I hate to compare it, but look at the Ronaldo and Ten Hag situation. It's similar. It's not as bad, but it's similar. It's not as bad as what Ronaldo was saying, but it is somewhat similar. And yeah, he was right in the long run. Ronaldo. Big up to you, bro. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you back with us. Glad that you're here. Stop saying Salah fault. I agree. If Salah dropped, why is Gakpo and the others not dropped? Some saying Liverpool look better last 3 games. Salah's not at fault. I agree. Salah's not at fault. And here's the thing, you know, we win without him in the team. We win with him in the team. It doesn't matter. I've been saying this for a while. Liverpool's poor season is not to do with 1 or 2 players or scapegoating 1 or 2 players. This has all the makings of a poor team, a team that is underwhelming, underperforming. It's not to do with 1 or 2 players, because it doesn't matter who we drop. You know, we may look good in 1 or 2 games here and there, but for the most part, it's up and down. It's a yo-yo of a season. It's just hit and miss. So it doesn't necessarily matter who we drop, but at the same time, if you're going to set the principle that there's going to be rotation, there's lots of big games coming up, fitness needs to be taken into account, and not only that, but poor form, and we need to reward those that are in good form. Well, you're clearly not following through on that, because when you said it was good, when you said it was about rotation against West Ham, well, why hasn't Gakpo been rotated, and yet he's played a lot of minutes? And I'm sorry to keep like using Gakpo, but Gakpo is the main one. Do you see Liverpool getting Crystal Palace away in the FA Cup draw today? Genuinely, I said several weeks ago, I can't remember what stream it was. I said several weeks ago that it genuinely wouldn't surprise me if we did get Crystal Palace just to knock us out of every single freaking competition this year. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get Crystal Palace away. But also, here's the other thing. It doesn't matter who we get. We could get someone from League Two, and I would still be terrified that we're going to be embarrassed and humiliated. So I don't think it necessarily matters. I don't think it matters. PSV are class, though, beat Napoli 6-1 in the Champions League. Yeah, but they shouldn't be beating us 4-1 at Anfield. They should not be beating us 4-1 at Anfield. Respect to PSV, but they should not be beating us and dismantling us 4-1 in our backyard. It just shouldn't be happening. It should not be happening whatsoever. Mark Gay needs to arrive. Look, as much as obviously we need to strengthen in the centre-back position, Mark Gay, he's probably looking back on this past summer and going, wow, I dodged a massive bullet. And not only that as well, I don't think it really matters who we bring in at this point because Slot's not changing his ways. Slot's not adapting. Slot's not being flexible with his tactical approach. It does not matter who we bring in. We may concede a few less goals with Mark Gay in the side, but let's face it, in the past several games, we have conceded a lot of goals. And you know, we're very open right now. Gay may stop certain moments, and he probably is obviously going to be better than Konate and maybe not make as many mistakes as Konate, but he's not like singularly going to turn things around for Liverpool. It does not matter what we do. Unless Slot either changes his ways or goes, things are going to get much worse before they get better. Thoughts on Konate's recent form? Absolutely crap. Absolutely crap. But again, it's not too dissimilar from the rest of the team. You know, I thought he was okay against West Ham. I won't hold it as like an agenda. I thought he was okay against West Ham. But West Ham were poor. West Ham are poor. West Ham, there's a reason why West Ham are where they are. And they didn't play how I would imagine that they would have tried to exploit us and tried to obviously exploit our weaknesses. Messi wins the MLS. Yep, fair play to the GOAT. I can't see Slot leaving mainly because he won the league first year. I think Slot is a poor manager, been a while since Liverpool been flopping, and still doesn't know who to start in the team. Well, the thing was, I thought he had these two games against Sunderland and Leeds to turn it around, and he had to win both. And yet withdrew both games, so he should be gone, right? But now it seems that this Salah situation has blown up, and the club are sticking with the manager. Whereas I think, personally, we get rid of Slot, we get a new manager in. There's no guarantee that it will turn fortunes around. There's no guarantee that it will turn things around. But I think it might breathe a new lease of life, breathe a new lease of life into these players. And it might make them a bit more happier. Morale might go up a bit. I don't know. I don't know, man. 8th of December, I think you'll reach 1,000 past January now. Did you see Salah quotes on comparing Harry Kane in the media when he was not scoring for a little while? Yeah, big up, bro. Appreciate that. And like I say, hit the like button and subscribe if you are new, guys. Really appreciate that from each and every single one of you. The love and support shown cannot be underestimated how much I love and appreciate it. So I appreciate each and every single one of you, and big up to you all for being here on this Monday morning. I obviously put out a video yesterday in which I said certain comments and certain quotes from Salah's interview. And the Harry Kane one, I think he was over-exaggerating. A lot of people seem to think that Kane didn't go about 10 games without scoring. But I know that obviously Harry Kane did go through certain droughts in his career in front of goal. But But again, the reason is that Mo Salah's always been disrespected, not just by English media, but by fans and certain fan bases, and even by his own fan base to an extent. Mo Salah has been somewhat disrespected, and obviously Harry Kane is the golden goose. Harry Kane is obviously England's golden boy. So, if he's going through a drought, the English media are going to be like, "Oh, come on, Harry, you can do it. We believe in you." And if Salah's going through a drought, it is what it is, and they'll jump on that and go, "Why is he performing badly? Why is he wanting this but can't do this?" and all of that stuff. And to prove it again, I'll say this. It annoyed me for many a year that Mo Salah would be treated differently than what Harry Kane was in the Premier League by certain referees, because Salah gets labelled as a diver. But if you watch most Liverpool games, he gets dragged to the floor, he gets wrestled, he gets completely taken out by defenders, and yet he gets very little out of referees, whether it be in the box or outside the box. And yet there'll be one or two times where Salah will go to ground somewhat easily or somewhat very cleverly, and they'll label him as a diver. No one will say anything about the times he was wrestled to the ground or anything like that. They will say only something when he cleverly wins a penalty, or, it's a soft penalty, but it's somewhat of a penalty. But yet Harry Kane will do it, and it's very clever from Kane. Oh, it's absolute genius from Kane. Oh, love it from Harry Kane. And this is not obviously a Harry Kane hate thing. I'm just saying that there is a difference in comparison when you are talking about England's golden goose to, obviously, with all due respect, a foreign player in the Premier League who has obviously been so great these past several years. There is a genuine and definite difference. Last Christmas you had 600 and now you have 979 or so. Yeah, I think we're on, last time I checked, I think we're on 980. So we are 20 away from 1K. So really do appreciate the following, guys. Some win for Aston Villa. Liverpool have been drawing too many, so they are out of the title race. I mean, losing too many. We only drew our first game on Wednesday and obviously drew this past weekend. But we've been out of the title race for a while, bro. We've been out of the title race since United. We've been out of the title race since United, which is annoying considering that Arsenal dropped points this week. City, I'm still not completely convinced with City, but they are seemingly starting to turn the screw a little bit, and Phil Foden is definitely the main catalyst behind that. It's frustrating, but we made our own grave. We have to just live in it. Dude, the Heitinger thing is true. End of. It seems to be now. I mean, there was even talk that he's on the list to be an interim manager till the end of the season, which, yeah, I have no idea. But something's definitely gone off behind the scenes at Liverpool. Something 100% has gone off behind the scenes that we're not fully aware of as of right now. No Salah for Inter match, I heard. Visitors said. This is something Liverpool coach went Swansea City the other day too. Something's going off behind the scenes, bro. Vita Matos. Matos. I haven't pronounced the name right. Yeah, so something's going off behind the scenes, bro. I think, didn't we get rid of our goalkeeping coach this summer? And wasn't there another coach or someone like that went in the summer as well? These things we overlooked, and I overlooked them. We overlooked the importance of these kinds of things, and something's gone off. Something has certainly gone off behind the scenes. I think Liverpool will struggle at the San Siro and against Brighton. Liverpool can lose both games. There's no confidence for with these games. Yeah, I don't see us. I can't see us going to the San Siro and winning at all. Inter Milan have got a very good defense. Inter Milan going forward can be dangerous. I can't see us winning against Inter at all. I can't even see us drawing. That's how bad we are right now. Brighton, I think we have a bit more of a favourable chance because Brighton can be a little bit hit and miss. But the thing I see with Brighton is I see a bunch of players that are willing to work for their manager. And if they are physical, and if they want it more, and if they're more energetic and tenacious as we know they can be, they'll be first to every first ball. They'll be first to every second ball. Our midfield will be sluggish and slow, and they will get the better of us. So I can't see us winning both games either. I've got to be honest with you. And I hate saying that. I don't want to say it. Even if I want Arne Slot out, I don't obviously want to lose games just to quicken that process up. But it is becoming a point where might have to happen. It might have to happen. I'm not there yet. I'm genuinely not there yet, but I can't see us winning both games. And it's going to be a case of, doesn't matter whether Salah's there or not. It does not matter whether Salah's there or not. I will wait for you to read comments first. Liverpool could have kept Diaz. Transition season for Liverpool. This is the revisionism that I hate. What would Luis Diaz do in this team? Again, he might be a little bit better than what Cody Gakpo is doing, but the Luis Diaz that we're seeing at Bayern Munich right now is nothing compared to what Luis Diaz was like at Liverpool because he's so much better. He's so much better at Bayern than what he was ever at Liverpool right now. Because with all due respect, he's in a less competitive league, with all due respect to the Bundesliga. He's in a less competitive league. He's in a better team. He's got one of the best strikers in the world playing alongside him, as well as one of the best wingers in world football right now in Michael Elise playing alongside him. Like, this whole revisionism on Luis Diaz, he should have stayed. I agree. He probably should have stayed over Cody Gakpo right now. Right now, I can look back and go, you know what? Maybe we did get rid of the wrong winger. But it's not like he's going to be performing in this Liverpool team to anywhere near the level that he's performing with Bayern right now. It's just not happening, bro. Federico Chiesa is a good player, being a squad player for a season now. He deserves so much better. He deserves so much better. San Siro game is already Tuesday. Oh, is it? Did I say Wednesday? It might be Tuesday. I've completely lost track of my days. I'm not going to lie to you. Row your boat. Flash is singing nursery rhymes on live. Yeah, I've kind of got it stuck in my head for my daughter. So, yeah. She likes it. She enjoys it. She makes it. She wants it all the time. So, yeah, she wants that song all the time. Absolutely loves it. Inter are so decent, I don't see Liverpool getting a result. Neither do I, bro. Neither do I. You've got a Inter defense, which is going to be strong. So it means that Liverpool are going to have the majority of possession between Van Dijk, Konate, Alisson. You know, those three playing triangles in their own penalty box. Occasionally playing it out wide to the fullbacks before playing it back to the goalkeeper. And then eventually we look long. And then we lose the ball, we lose possession, and then one pass from Inter and they're through on goal. That is exactly the carbon copy blueprint that haunts Liverpool each and every single game. It's absolutely abysmal, absolutely terrible. Ideally, Konate needs to be replaced with Mark Gahey, yet they don't sign him this summer. I'd take anyone at this point. Surely we have someone in our academy. I'd take Nat Phillips back at this point. I'd take Nat Phillips back. Firmino leave, Mane leave, but Salah stayed. Will Salah get the plane back from AFCON to England, or will he go to Saudi? If Slot goes, he comes back. I think if Slot stays, he goes. I've just got a horrible feeling. But here's the thing as well that is so dumb from the club. Here's the thing that's so stupid from Liverpool as a club, right? Saudi are willing to pay 75 to 100 million reportedly for Mo Salah, right? Let's just say that's the kind of figure they're looking at. This is so stupid what has happened right now with Liverpool Football Club in terms of, damaging one of your prized assets. Because he's only got 1.5 years left on his current deal. Saudi were probably willing to pay a lot of money to sign him. And now they can sit back and go, well, we've got the upper hand here. You've decided to have one of your best ever players, probably the best player of this generation, the best player that in Liverpool Football Club history in the Premier League. You decided to toss him aside, absolutely ridicule him, make him a scapegoat, humiliate and embarrass him. And yet you think we're going to be paying 100 million or so just to sign him a year and a half early? No. You either take 40 million or we'll just wait for a year and a half. You'll have to deal with an unhappy player that doesn't want to be there, if obviously that is the case. I still think he wants to be there. I just don't think he wants to play under Slot. He won't want to be there because of the manager. You either take 40 million offers in January or we wait for a year and a half, because in a year and a half, his value to our league is still going to be up there because he's got a massive following, because the league in Saudi is still poor, that he would probably be one of the best players to play there, and still, even at the age of 34 going on 35. It's so dumb from us. It really, really is. If we want to sell him, why would we loosen our strong position and go, yeah, we're going to choose Slot over Salah in this situation because, we believe in Slot? It's just bizarre. Reminder, Salah is going to AFCON, is in the near future, happy with the World Cup England group. In my opinion, he's probably not going to play against Inter. He's probably not going to play against Brighton. He should probably go there now. He should probably have a week's vacation or whatever just to clear his head and focus on AFCON, because that's the one thing that's eluded him. And if he was to actually go and win it, I don't know if Egypt are one of the favourites to win it. I don't know. I don't really follow African football, with all due respect. But if he can somehow manage to inspire Egypt to win, which I have had a theory for a while that Salah's been saving his best performances for AFCON. But as well as that, of course, Slot's not been playing him to the best of his ability. Fair play. But he should probably go now, because he's not going to be playing against Inter with what's happened now. He probably won't be playing against Brighton either. He should just go, join up. He should go and just enjoy a week off before joining up with the Egypt squad, clear his head and just see what happens, because I don't see him playing any part against Inter. I don't see him playing any part against Brighton. Slot, the way he's managing Isak and Ekitike is poor. He drops and changes the dynamic of the attack. I completely agree. Isak's clearly not on it right now. But again, the incentive is Ekitike has better link-up play right now. It's actually scoring goals. And yet, there is no incentive for Ekitike to continue to play that way. Why? Because I would be very shocked if Ekitike starts at the San Siro against Inter. I would be very shocked if that's the case. He should start. He should definitely start against Inter. But I doubt he will. I bet Isak will start on Tuesday. I'm just saying. Thank you for welcome. Yeah, I was simply sharing my thoughts in the comments as you were speaking. Yeah, fair play to him. I will get through these comments eventually. I do ramble and I do go off tangents, as you probably know. But yeah, I will eventually get through these comments. I appreciate you all being here, by the way. I will get through to you all. Don't worry. I will get there eventually. Slot out for me. Enough is enough. 100% agree. Honestly, it's frustrating. Results are so up and down. Yeah, we are very inconsistent. We are very, very inconsistent. Chiesa must have stolen Slot's wife or is waiting trial for murder or something, because that man has an absolute agenda against the Italian baller. Big up, bro. I don't know how I would go about pronouncing your name. If you have a preferred name, that you would like to go by, hit up the comments and then we'll go by that. But big up to you. Thank you for being here. But I absolutely agree. And I think simultaneously on the other side of things, Gakpo must have some sort of incriminating evidence, or maybe some very what's the acronym? NSFW, not suitable for work photos of Arne Slot somewhere, which is why he gets to play every game. I don't know. Big up Abdul's in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Sell Salah and back Slot. We need to move on. Buy 2 centre-backs, CDMs, and 2 wingers. The thing is like, you could put anyone in this team. The way that we're playing right now, it's not good. It's not good. I don't think just buying more players and throwing more money at it changes. I think that these players are still good enough. Could we obviously improve in certain areas? Yes, we need more depth at centre-back. I do think we need more of a defensive midfielder, because I think Gravenberch is being found out this season. But at the same time, like, just to say, throw more money at it, buy more players. These players are still good enough. We know that. It's just that they're not being played to the best of their ability. Slot is moving in our fullbacks inverted when they shouldn't be inverted. Slot is making McAllister run the length of the pitch for 90-odd minutes, even though that's not necessarily where his best game is. Slot's using Szoboszlai anywhere but his natural position, even though he's still killing it wherever he plays. And he continues to persist with a terrible, flailing Cody Gakpo, whose decision-making is poor, whose execution is terrible. And every single time we go forward, he ruins everything. He ruins all our attacks. For someone so tall, I've never known someone to lose so many aerial battles. It's appalling. It really, really is. Slot's tactics are getting exposed. Absolutely. The UK media have English and UK bias. This will never change. Yeah, we were just goes off of what we were saying, wasn't it? English refs bias will never change as well. Yeah, I completely agree. What's your score prediction for tomorrow? I don't even want to know. I think we lose 3-1, you know. I genuinely think we lose 3-1. I think they absolutely torture us tomorrow. And the only reason why I say we score is because we probably get a Szoboszlai rocket from about 30 yards. That's the only way that I see us maybe scoring. Because I can imagine the starting lineup is probably going to be Alisson. He's got to play Bradley because Bradley's suspended for Brighton. So Bradley will play at right back. He's going to go with Konate again because why the hell not, with Van Dijk. He's probably going to go Kirk. He might go Robertson tomorrow. He might go Robertson at the San Siro tomorrow and Kirkez for the weekend. He's going to go McAllister back, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, because why would he change the midfield and try something different? He'll go Wirtz on the right, Gakpo on the left because he's his love child, and he'll go Isak up front. And to be fair, I do want to see more of Wirtz and Isak together because I want to see the partnership continue to develop. But at the same time, it's not setting the example that you need, that you play well and your reward is more minutes on the pitch. Because Ekatike, I don't know what more he has to do. He should be nailed on in that striker position right now. He should be nailed on. But he's not. Because he keeps on chopping and changing both strikers. I'm going 3-1 Inter. I really, really am. Wolves have not won in 14 Premier League games so far. Do you think they can do it tonight against Man United? If so, that would be such a new low for United. You want to know the scary thing is? You know, if it doesn't happen tonight, I can see it happening on December 27th when we take on them. I've got a horrible, horrible feeling that Wolves are going to beat us. I've got a horrible... horrible feeling that if Arne Slot is still in charge of Liverpool Football Club come December 27th, when Liverpool take on Wolves, Wolves are going to get their first win of the season. I believe would be the 18th or 19th time of asking by then this season. We are an absolute shambles. It's unbelievable. Losses against Crystal Palace 3 times, Galatasaray, Chelsea, Man United, Brentford, Forest, PSV is all unacceptable. Draw against Leeds and Sunderland is also unacceptable. We are not winning the league, FA Cup and Champions League. I completely agree. Completely agree. Forwards not pressing, wingers not giving service to number 9, defence is shocking, don't have a proper CDM, leaking goals for fun, and bad service and bad at set pieces. Whether they're for or against us. Although, to be fair, we have been, from what I've noticed, we have actually been connecting with our set pieces a little bit more. We have actually found Van Dijk a fair few times from our set pieces. He just hasn't been able to put them in the back of the net. And the one time that he did was wrongfully ruled out for offside. So I think we're getting better from attacking set pieces, but defending them, we are still abysmal. That is the one area where I can say maybe we actually got better in. Maybe we did actually get better at attacking set pieces. That is the one small area where I can say we're better. Still not great because we're still not converting them chances, but we're getting better at them. And that's all. That's what I wanted. But I also wanted that on top of all the other good stuff that we were doing. But we can't get both, apparently. Why isn't Gakpo, Konate, McAllister and Van Dijk not getting benched? This is the point, bro. This is the point. Salah's being made the example of when all of these other players are playing poorly. And here's the thing as well. I mentioned earlier about the media. James Pearce, Paul Joyce, all going in on Salah. Guess who also goes in on Salah? Any other pundit that talks about Liverpool. And people sit there and go, why is he being called? Why is he calling himself a scapegoat? Why does he think they're throwing him under the bus? I just don't get it. I'm like, use your eyes, people. Use your eyes. You will see why. You can see why. Because no one else is being made an example of other than Mo Salah. And Salah's not the reason. If anything, Salah is still creating chances. He's probably now our top creative player in the team. He's still creating chances. He's actually got four goals and 2 assists, I believe, this season. Or 5 goals, 2 assists, something along them lines. He's actually got those numbers this season in 13 games. So even in his poor season, he's still doing better than the likes of, I don't know, say Bukayo Saka, for example, in terms of numbers. So even in his poor season, he's still doing relatively okay for someone who's dropped off. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we just scapegoating one particular player just because he's a victim of his own success? Like, it needs to be looked at. And as I mentioned before with the articles were dreadful. The articles were dreadful. And as I also mentioned before that the communication side of things with the manager has clearly broken down. And this is not just the one example of this. Remember when Federico Chiesa was taken out of the Champions League squad? There was claims that he didn't know why. There was claims that he wasn't told why. That was a poor moment in terms of relationship and obviously communication. Tyler Morton, when he moved to France, I can't remember what club he's at. It's just escaped me off the top of my head. I can't remember what club Tyler Morton's at, but he's killing it over there anyway. He said that it was about trust. He said that he tried to do everything possible to make Arne Slot choose him and pick him and all of that stuff. And it didn't happen for him. And there was no real explanation as to why. And then Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott goes to Villa and he's asked about it. And he goes, I don't know, best ask Villa about it. There's no communication from the manager whatsoever. He's too busy partying it up in Dubai to even care about what his players are doing or how they're feeling. You've been live for an hour now. Take care, Fletch, and have a nice week. Talk soon. Big up to you, bro. Lovely to have you here with us talking football, and thanks for the contributions in the chat. Always good to talk to you, my bro. Stay safe, my dude, and we'll catch up again soon. But big up to you. Big up to Luca Talks Dons as well. Big up to you, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. Guys, go and subscribe to Luca's channel, doing some awesome stuff over there. He is an MK Dons fan, but he's also an Arsenal fan as well. He does a lot of content in terms of vlogs to MK Dons, but he'll also talk the occasional Arsenal content as well. Either way, if you want to broaden your footballing horizons, if you want to talk more about Arsenal or just football in general, go and subscribe to Luca Talks Dons. Show some love and support to my brother. I'm sure there's something over there that you will love and enjoy. Big up to you, Luca. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Even though your team lost on Saturday. I can't remember how MK Dons did, but I'm sure that I will catch up with your content later on today. I'm good, man, and I hope you are too. Really big up to yourself for joining us on this Monday morning. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, a superstar, not a reject. Yeah, absolutely. I actually rate Wolves striker Strand Larson. Hopefully, can get a brace tonight. Would be funny. Like I say, he was definitely a wanted man in the summer, mainly by Newcastle. If United win tonight, I think that will make Liverpool 15th or 16th. That is great. Oh, God. Really? Is that the case? I haven't even looked at the Premier League table. Oh, Jesus. No. If United win tonight, we go down to 10th. If United win tonight, we go down to 10th. And they go right up the table to 6th if they win tonight. Which just shows you the madness of this Premier League table. That one win can take you from 12th to 6th. One win can take you from 12th to 6th if you win. The madness of this Premier League table from 14th placed Brentford right the way through to even 4th place Crystal Palace. 1 or 2 wins here and there can see you leapfrog up the table massively. The top 3, I mean, even Aston Villa are up there right now, and it's looking good for Villa. Like, they're the most informed team right now in the Premier League. But the top 3 are pretty much making a bit of a getaway from the rest of them. Palace are 4 points behind Aston Villa, who are in 3rd. But Palace on 26, right the way down to Brentford on who are in 14th on 19 points. Fulham then in 15th on 17. Leeds on 15. Forest on 15. West Ham on 13. Burnley on 10. And then right at the bottom, with still no wins from the opening 14 games, hopefully until tonight, is Wolverhampton Wanderers. Rock bottom of the table and showing no signs of life whatsoever. It's a madness. It's a madness that 1 or 2 wins can really catapult you up the table, and 1 or 2 losses can drag you down. It's bizarre right now. But that's the reality of the situation. But back to the Salah thing. It's civil war. It's civil war, let's put it that way. The interesting parts that I found from Paul Joyce's article were he claims that it was sad to have divided the entire fan base. But yet the article, when you read it, seems to side with the club and Arne Slot. So it's divided them, but rather than tackle it in a neutral way, he seems to have sided with the club and the manager on this one. So I just think it's a bit weird from a journalist like that he's siding with them. He claims that Salah said he didn't want... This was an interesting part as well. Last season, he claimed well, he didn't claim, but he basically stated that he brought back up the claim from Mo Salah that he didn't have to defend as much, because as long as he was scoring goals and as long as he was obviously creating chances, he didn't have to defend as much. And that really obviously played into Liverpool's strengths, because that meant that we had a very, very good option of a counter-attack. He also stated that Arne Slot seems to remember this differently and didn't quite back up Salah's story. So again, why wouldn't you make an example of him there? Why wouldn't you say, that's not how it was? Why are you saying that? I'm going to drop you right there and then because I need to make a statement that no one can just get away with not defending. Again, is that a breakdown of communication? Which side is lying there? And of course, Salah mentioned broken promises in his interview. He also said it's broken promises that Salah stopped scoring goals and Salah stopped creating. Salah has been creating. Salah is still one of our top goal scorers this season in a dreadful season. I think other than maybe, I think Ekatike may have more goals now, but Salah is still one of the top goal scorers this season. It's not about breaking promises from Salah's perspective. It's about the rest of the team not helping. And we all knew as Liverpool fans going into this season, with the signings that we made, he was never going to be the main guy. He's not the main guy anymore. He doesn't have to carry that weight of expectation on his shoulders. It's just bizarre the way that they tried to use every single angle to attack this man. Paul Joyce especially, absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. He also went on to state that Salah's poor season has deteriorated because of obviously the lack of goals, the lack of assists, and the lack of touches in the opposition box. Almost like he's not been watching Liverpool this season, because Salah's been like a touchline winger. Salah's been like a touchline winger, which we know that he may start off out there, but he'll drift. He'll drift narrow. So, of course, the touches in the opposition box are going to be drying up because he's not there. Because Slot's decided to play Joe Gomez more towards the goal than himself. Like, what are we doing here? Like, if you're going to make these claims, at least watch the game, watch the team, watch what you're trying to comment on. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It really, really doesn't make any sense whatsoever what the article was basically trying. Well, it does, because obviously he was trying to attack Salah, but they briefly mention Konate and Gakpo, as we have done on here, but they don't go into enough detail, and they don't really like question why they are starting when Salah isn't. A quote from the article states that FSG, which owns Liverpool, wants Slot to come through what is proving to be a hugely difficult second season after last term's title success, and has shown no signs of wavering on that. So, therefore, FSG are backing the club in this situation between the club and Arne Slot and against Mo Salah. And he also said, patience will not be limitless, but results will ultimately dictate Slot's future, not Salah stamping his feet. Well, I'm sorry, but if results will ultimately dictate Slot's future, why is he still here? Why is the man still here? He should have gone after Man United. That was abysmal in of itself. I said he should have gone after Man United, but he stayed. He should have definitely gone when we lost to PSV or even Nottingham Forest. Pick the result that you want. Either one of those two, he should have definitely gone after that. He stayed. If results are seriously dictating this guy's future, why is he still here? Because guess what? Whether Mo Salah's in the team or whether he's not in the team, Liverpool don't look good. Liverpool look poor. The performances are not sustainable. We may have one or two good performances here and there. I still remember Aston Villa. I still remember Real Madrid. But guess what? Those were the performances of a non-Arne Slot side, because Arne Slot decided to get rid of everything that he tried earlier on in the season for those particular games. And guess what? When he did revert back to type of last season, for the most part, it worked. We were good. We looked good. We were creating chances. We looked solid defensively. Everybody looked comfortable in their set roles. And guess what happened as soon as Manchester City hit? He went back to his ways. His ways clearly do not work with this team. And yet he decided, we're going to high press against City. We're going to high press against one of the best counter-pressing teams in the Premier League. The team that can play out of a press. The team that can be blindfolded and still play out of a press. Because Pep Guardiola has drilled his players that well that he can do that. Why would you do that? It's clear that your way of doing things does not go hand in hand with this team. And yet you decided against Aston Villa and Real Madrid, we're going to do things completely the opposite way, like we did a little bit last season. A few tweaks here and there, yeah, sure, to accommodate for the level of opposition. But we're going to look good. And we did look good for the most part. Most of it on the Aston Villa front was down to Villa being poor on the day. But for the most part, we look good. We look good. And we definitely look good against Real Madrid. But then what happened against City? Went back to doing it Arne Slot's way. What happened against Forest? Went back to doing it Arne Slot's way. What happened against PSV? Went back to doing it with Arne Slot's way. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. And the thing that scares me is that we very well could beat Inter on Tuesday. We could. It's not in the realms of possibility. If we beat Real Madrid, we could beat Inter. But it wouldn't be doing it under Arne Slot's tactics. It'll be going back to last season. It'll be going back to how we did it against Real Madrid and Villa, which is, he basically went, right, my way of doing it, go back to how you did it last season. And he would survive because he would get a good result against Inter. He might even do the same against Brighton. He'd probably get a couple of good results, and suddenly the pressure is lifted a little bit off his shoulders by the club, who look at results rather than performances. And then the game after, we got Spurs. Goes back to type again. We lose to Spurs. We probably lose to Wolves. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I think if United win tonight, I think that will make Liverpool 15th or 6th. Oh, sorry, I already read that one. Sorry. Yeah, we debunked that one. Just call me D2. I just don't get why Slot won't try playing Isak, Ekatike, and Chiesa together. I know Isak are capable to play left wing if needed, since he used to play back in the AIK days. Isak and Ekatike playing together, it's not the worst thing in the world. Ekatike can also play left wing, you know. Ekatike can play left wing. I wouldn't mind seeing Salah on the right, Ekatike on the left, Wirtz in the middle, and Isak up front. That is a dangerous, dangerous front four. Ekatike as well has pace and skill. Something that Gakpo lacks. Because Gakpo can't take on a man. Gakpo has one move, and he's not good at it. He has the move of, I will push the ball inside and have a shot. And he does that pretty much every single game, at every single opportunity. Ironically, I mentioned before, the one time he actually did decide to try to use the overlap was the one time he actually should have had a shot on goal, which proves his decision-making is terrible right now. Play Ekitike on the left. And here's what you get from that situation as well. Here's what you get from having those four in particular in that situation. Isak can pull out left. Wirtz can play as false 9. Wirtz can also pull out left. Ekitike can roam in the middle. He likes his link-up play. He likes to drop deep at times to get involved in the game. Salah can move inside. Salah can be more up front. Salah can play slightly more as a number 10, an inverted number 10. The interchange, the flexibility of that forward four would be immense. It would be immense. Rather than having this very rigid tactic of give the ball out wide to Salah, give the ball out wide to Gakpo, and just hope that something happens, rather than have that stupid, predictable approach, have something that is going to keep opponents on their toes and guessing. Wirtz might be through the middle one attack, but he might find himself on the left in the next. Salah may find himself wide right in one attack, but moving inverted the next. Ekitike might start out on the left, but then he might roam up front, or he might drop deep. Isak might be up front, but maybe he drops a little deeper to accommodate for Ekitike making that inverted run. Maybe Isak goes left, Florian Wirtz then roams through the middle. The interchange, the fluidity, the flexibility, all of that stuff from those four alone is enough to make me excited and want to see it. I don't know about anybody else, but the way I'm imagining it, I like it. I very, very much like it. But he doesn't want to play it. He thinks that if he plays Ekitike and Isak for longer than 5 minutes, the world is going to explode or something. He thinks that Florian Wirtz, for whatever reason, can't manage a full 90 minutes of playing on the pitch. And above all, he thinks that Mo Salah shouldn't be playing each and every single game, but Cody Gakpo should. The one player in that front line which is easily adaptable, easily changeable, is Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo is the one player that is easily the easiest to replace. But he doesn't want to do it. Like I say, you can put a wild card out there in Ngamoa. You can put Chiesa on the left. You can put Florian Wirtz somewhat on the left, but you need someone in the middle still, like an Ekitike, or you could just swap them around and go Ekitike on the left and Wirtz through the middle. Either way, it's a lot more exciting and interesting than what we've got right now, but he won't do it. He won't do it. He sticks with the same things game in, game out. He makes the same mistakes game in, game out. And he's expecting different results, and he's not getting them. He's not getting them. But, is what it is. Can't see stop playing the next couple. Salah stop playing Salah in the next couple of games. It will be interesting to see. I don't think he will either. I don't think we're seeing Salah against Inter. I don't think we're seeing Salah against Brighton. And to be honest, if seemingly he or it's a member of the club seemingly get their way, we might not be seeing Salah at all in a Liverpool shirt ever again. Unless it's like a Liverpool Legends game or something. That might be the reality of the situation come January. Imagine that. One of our best ever players, the Premier League GOAT of Liverpool Football Club, doesn't get the send-off that he so richly deserves. Trent Alexander-Arnold, who a lot of Liverpool fans hate for the way that he left, call him a rat, despise him, gets a better send-off than what Mo Salah, arguably in the conversation as Premier League GOAT, up there with Thierry Henry, he doesn't get that. That is so incredibly sad. That is so incredibly sad on Mo Salah. It just doesn't. It just doesn't add up. It just does not add up. Why did the club decide to give him a new contract if they didn't want him at the club? Why? Why did they give him a new deal? Why did they give him a new deal? Someone explain to me that. Why did they give him a new deal if they didn't want him at the club? And I'm not calling Salah a liar when I say that, by the way. I'm saying that let's say Salah is telling the truth. Let's say that the club did not want him. Why give him a new deal? Why spend all that time negotiating a new deal just to go, here you go, Salah. Here's a new deal. Why? And I know that people will say, oh, it's because of fan backlash. And because if they didn't do it, everybody would be on their case. Well, that's where the club's got to be strong enough to make these decisions, take the fan backlash on their shoulders and go, just you wait. Just you wait, because we will be proven right in the end. Because if this is natural decline from Mo Salah, if this is Salah's complete decline, rather than us think that a new manager will get him back on track, then why didn't you see that? You're with him every day. You are monitoring him every day. It's like the Fabinho, Jordan Henderson situation all over again. They kept them a year longer than what they needed to, but didn't monitor the whole, their legs are going. If they see that, I may not be happy in the moment that you didn't re-sign Salah to a new deal, but if I was to go and see him even flop in Saudi Arabia, for example, if he was to go there and not be the same Mohammed Salah that he was at Liverpool, I could at least turn around and go, you know what? I didn't like it at the time, but this club actually made the right decision. I don't think that, by the way. I still think Mo Salah is in peak physical condition. I still think Mo Salah is mentally... I wouldn't say he's all there completely mentally after the year that's happened with, you know, one of his best friends passing away and all of that. I wouldn't say he's completely fully recovered as of right now, and you know, for obvious reasons, it's understandable as to why. But I think on a footballing level, I think he is mentally there. I think he is mentally still strong. I think he is mentally still trying to prove he's the best. It just hasn't quite clicked this season. And I think there are a number of reasons that as to why. And maybe some of them are down to Mo Salah. But I think the big ones, the majority of them, fall on the manager. The way that he's trying to play him. The way that he's not communicating. The way that everybody on that pitch, not just Mo Salah, seems confused about what their roles are. Because one week they're being told to play the role that they're comfortable with, and the next game they're being told to play a completely different role that they're not suited to. I think if you read between the lines and you actually see the bigger picture, it falls on the manager. I think it genuinely does. I don't understand how anyone cannot see this. But it's Mo Salah versus the world. Everybody will be on his case. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of eyes on Monday Night Football tonight in the build-up to Man United versus Wolves, because I assume Sky are licking their lips at the prospect of talking about this. I'm sure Jamie Carragher is preparing his monologue for what he is going to say tonight. And Salah's already expecting it. Salah actually did mention that he's sure that Jamie Carragher will say something that will not exactly be too kind towards Mo Salah. But let's face it, Jamie, you did question why Salah hasn't said anything. And then the moment that he does, you're going to still criticize it. So, yeah, is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of eyes on that tonight. I'm sure it's going to overshadow a lot of other things as well. The fallout is going to continue. And when we lose to Inter on Tuesday, I don't want to hear none of the Salah talk. I don't want to hear anything about it's Salah's fault. I know that some people will. But we didn't beat Sunderland and we didn't beat Leeds, and Salah was barely in the team for those games. So, yeah. I to sum up, I don't think we're beating Inter. Not beating Inter. Jamie Carragher is going to say some ridiculous stuff about Mo Salah. The train wreck of a season at Liverpool continues. And that's all she wrote. And nothing changes. Nothing changes until, at the very least, Arne Slot is removed from his position as head coach. Nothing changes. It's an utter shambles. Big up Niche fan is in the building. That Man United ascendancy didn't last very long, did it, bro? I'm joking, bro. It's good to have you here. Good luck to you tonight. I don't obviously mean that. I hope Wolves get their first win of the season against you. Because it's better to be you than it will be us in a couple of weeks' time. So, yeah. I've like Slot has utterly disrespected one of the Prem's greatest players. The club is in free fall. I have you finishing 14th at best. Is that us finishing 14th with Slot staying as manager? Because I believe that we will finish higher. I think even with Slot staying, I still think we finish higher. Not by much, but I still think we do. But if Slot obviously goes, then I think we could potentially finish a lot higher than 14th. So I'm assuming you're assuming Slot stays in that scenario, because I genuinely think that a new manager or an interim manager probably gives us enough momentum and enough motivation to at least get to the end of the season with a more respectable finish than what we are in right now. So we shall see. Who comes in as Slot goes? Anyone. anyone other than Ange Postecoglou, and I'll be happy. No. Well, the rumours and rumblings is that Liverpool are wanting Julian Nagelsmann, but Nagelsmann won't come in until after the World Cup, which is understandable. So it probably means that Liverpool are probably going to have to go down, if they are truly set on Nagelsmann, and they definitely think that they can get him in the summer of 2026 after the World Cup. They'd have to go down the interim route. Now, the interim route, if you want someone maybe to steady the ship, maybe get the players back on side, maybe bridge the gap between the fans and the club, there's only one name. There's only one name that will galvanize the fans and the squad together. Someone who they have utmost respect for. Someone who is legendary. And that's Steven Gerrard. And I'm not exactly massively keen on that happening. I'm not normally a fan of interim managers. They're a bit like loan players. You should never fall in love with an interim manager. No matter how good they do, you should never fall in love with an interim manager. It very rarely works out. I'm sure there have been cases in the past where they've been successful and they've gone on to have sustained success or whatever. But it very rarely does work out, interim managers. But if you need someone to steady the ship, someone that the players are going to have much more respect for, someone to galvanize the team, the squad, the fan base, bridge the gap that is seemingly being created, divided between the club and the fan base, Gerrard is the way to go in that aspect. That is the likelihood that Gerrard, as an interim manager till the end of the season, steadies things. And I'm not personally a massive fan of that, because obviously from his time at Aston Villa. But I could see it happening as an easy alternative. An easy alternative. Because part of the reason why I also think he's here is because I think the managerial market is a bit dry right now. The managerial market is pretty dry. That's part of the reason why I think Slot's not been sacked yet. He should be. Should be long gone by now. But part of the reason is because the managerial market is very dry. It's not there for everyone right now. I can look at a team like Tottenham and I can go, well, if they chose to sack Thomas Frank tomorrow, they would just go and get Brendan Rodgers, which I think will happen, by the way. I think if things do continue for Tottenham, I know they picked up a big win at the weekend, but I think if things do continue to spiral a little bit out of control for Tottenham, the chances is that Brendan Rodgers will be announced as the new Tottenham manager sooner rather than later. But the managerial market obviously is not there for everyone. And that, in my opinion, includes Liverpool, because the two top managers that I would be going for, I like Nagelsmann, but my dream appointment would obviously be Luis Enrique. But he's obviously tied up with PSG and doing a very good job with PSG and stuff. And obviously he's looking to defend his Champions League crown as well as all the other trophies he won last season. So Luis Enrique doesn't seem like an obtainable target as for right now. But he would be my dream appointment. I would love Luis Enrique to be Liverpool manager one day. But that's not going to happen. So you look further down and you're like, well, Nagelsmann's obviously tied up right now until after the World Cup at the very least. The managerial merry-go-round after the World Cup normally does take place following a major tournament. There's not that many managers out there that stand out to me as someone who can come in, take over this team, galvanize the squad, inject them with a little bit of confidence and a morale boosting exercise, and kick on from there. There's not many people that I think can do that. At least not many people that I think can do that for a sustained and longer period of time. So you're having to roll the dice. You're having to take a gamble on someone that you want long term. But if you just go for interim right now, it can't be any worse than what it is right now. That's my kind of take on it. I can't see it getting any worse than what it is right now. I'd find it incredible if it did. Obviously, famous last words before, we're in a relegation battle for this season, but I can't see it getting any worse than what it is right now by sacking Slot and bringing in an interim. I'm not completely all for it. It wouldn't be my preferred choice, but that's the situation that we find ourselves in. So we shall see. But like I say, it does seem like the club want to venture towards Nagelsmann. I wouldn't be against that in terms of his style of play. Do I think maybe he's the right manager for the team? I don't know. But his style of play at least will be a lot more entertaining and a lot more happier than what we're seeing right now. And I feel like, I know that obviously people will instantly look at like connections with certain players of the same nationality and stuff. But the way that he's balling out for Germany, that could really unlock someone like Florian Wirtz. Could really, really unlock someone like Florian Wirtz. It really, really could. And if we unlock Florian Wirtz, that could simultaneously, Ekitike could get better. Isak could find his feet again in the Premier League like he did when he was at Newcastle. If Salah's still here, maybe Salah gets back in the groove of things. Things like that. It could unlock the players that are around him, and that might be something that is really, really special. Really, really special. So you never know. You never know. I want to be against Stevie Gerrard stepping up. He's a legend, and there's also a great relationship with Salah. That's a good shout. Hey, if you saw his interview with Salah, you'll know that Gerrard has said that his own son loves Mo Salah more than his own dad. So, yeah, if you've seen that interview, you'll know that Gerrard is a massive fan of Salah. But again, it depends on what the club wants. And the club seemingly want to get rid of Salah. So this could be the end of Mo Salah at Liverpool, as the title of this stream says. But we shall see. I don't want it to be. I think he deserves a better send-off. I think he deserves to see out. If Salah wants to go at the end of this season, we shouldn't stand in his way. We shouldn't stand in. If he said he wanted to go at the end of this season, then fine, fair enough, whatever. But otherwise, he should be allowed to remain at Liverpool for the remainder of his 1.5-year contract that he's currently got, and ride out into the sunset in the most respectful, nicest way possible, in terms of thank you for everything. You are the GOAT of Liverpool Football Club. You're one of the GOATs, or you're in the GOAT conversation for the Premier League. I know a lot of Arsenal fans will still point at Thierry Henry, but in my opinion, Salah is right up there in that conversation. I think it's a lot closer than what a lot of people make it out to be. Thank you. You are incredible. Go and kill it in Saudi Arabia. That's just my personal opinion on that. But I don't know, man. This club, just when I think like things can't get any worse, just when I think like this club can't get any more stranger or more baffling or more confusing, this club find a way to do it. And like I say, in this personal situation, if you were to ask me what side of the fence am I on, I'm on Salah's. I'm on Salah's side here. Like, it makes no sense. I don't agree with what he said about, his reputation should be enough to... His reputation and his years of service to the club should be enough to basically say that he deserves a God-given right to be in the team, or whatever the situation was. I don't know if it was what he intended to say or anything like that. But that's how it kind of came across. I don't agree with that. You should be working to the bone to be the first name on the team sheet. You should be still working extremely hard, regardless of your years of service or regardless of your reputation, to be in the starting 11. No one has a God-given right, and I wouldn't want anybody to have a God-given right of starting every single game regardless. But at the same time, apart from that one little statement, the rest of what he was saying, there are elements of truth to it, and there are elements of confusion, and there are elements of frustration that I completely 100% understand as to why. Because if I was in Mo Salah's shoes and I'm seeing myself sat on the bench when other players are playing like absolute crap but still managing to get the majority of the minutes on the pitch every week, still managing to start near enough every single game, and above all else are basically not being as hounded or as harassed as what he is, based on basically being what was the phrase I used earlier? A victim of his own success. I too would be insanely frustrated by all of that combined. I really, really would. But yeah, hopefully one day we get a live stream that is more positive. Hopefully we get a live stream which is more happy. That would be bliss, wouldn't it? That would be absolute bliss if we could get that. But yeah, it is what it is. Big up to each and every single one of you for being here. Smash a like on the video on the way out if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button as well if you haven't done so and you're new to the channel and you want to see more content like this and all of that good stuff. Really do appreciate each and every single one of you for being here on this Monday morning. Oh, sorry, that's between YouTube. Fair enough. Really appreciate you being here. Absolutely love talking football with you, even if it's not exactly the most positive Liverpool stuff that is going around right now. Fingers crossed, like I say, one day we get some positive Liverpool content to actually bring you. But we've got a big week coming up. Inter Milan on Tuesday. Brighton at the weekend. And yet I can't see us winning either game. I can't even see us drawing either game. In all honesty. Maybe Brighton. Even then, I'm still not confident. Still not confident. Big up to each and every single one of you. Like I say, smash the like button on the way out. Hit the like button if you hit the subscribe button if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things will forever and greatly be appreciated. I cannot thank you enough for the love and support on the channel, and of course you getting involved in the comment section as well. Always amazing to talk football with you wonderful people. Cheers, man. You'll never walk alone. Big up D2. Lovely to have you here, my bro, and I hope to see you again very, very soon, my friend. I'll be back on Wednesday, I'll be doing a live stream Wednesday morning, hopefully around about the same time, in response to the Liverpool Inter game, because, you know, I just want to put myself through that much torture again every single game week. No, I'm joking. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. We'll be back on Wednesday for the reaction to the Liverpool's Champions League game against Inter. Dean says, see you again, Fletch. Bye for now. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Lovely to talk to you as always. Hope to see you back here again soon, my bro. And Alf, joining us rather late, but big up to you, my bro. Lovely to have you here. We're just about finishing now, my bro, unfortunately. But yeah, absolutely great to have you here, even if it is for a short amount of time. Big up to you, my bro. He simply says that Scousland is collapsing. Yep. And the wrecking ball is being driven and whacked into the building by Arne Slot, in my personal opinion. But we shall see. Like I say, there may be more to these stories than meets the eye, but it's not great. Better late than never. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Always great to see you, my bro. And I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're taking care of yourself. Big up to you, Alf. Absolutely lovely to have you here with us, even if it is for the short amount of time. You take care of yourself, bro. Absolutely great to have you here. And yeah, even though you are a City fan, which I'm kind of jealous of, because City are just building up a bit of head of steam right now. So fair play to you all. Yeah, we're going to end it there. We're going to end it there. That's a wrap. Like I say, content coming up this week. We've obviously got Premier League predictions later on in the week. We've got the reaction to Liverpool's game against Inter Milan on Wednesday. I'm sure there'll be something going out tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure what yet, but I'm sure there'll be something going out tomorrow. Probably talking about maybe the title race, or maybe even reaction to Man United's game against Wolves tonight, depending on what happens. I don't know, something along them lines, I'm sure. But yes, big week, big content, all of that good stuff. So make sure you are right here, where we try our best to obviously decipher through the madness. Big up to each and every single one of you for being here. Cannot thank you enough. Thank you for getting involved in the chat. Hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. All of that good stuff. Greatly appreciated. Cannot thank you enough for the love and support. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks live stream, and I will see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon. Peace.